Good day and welcome back to another Gekishin Squadra video. In this video we're going to discuss whether you should buy the God of Destruction Toppo from the store. Now, as always, we take a look at the characters. Understand that when I say buy the character will become available at a later stage in Gekishin Squadra. So for example, Toppo will become available in Season 2. In Gekishin Squadra, he will eventually become available to all players. So your main question with him is, will he have a huge impact on the meta right now, and is he going to be a dominant force? So buying him would give you a bit of a big advantage on the rest of players in the game. So let's look at Toppo. What is Toppo? Toppo is a damage dealer. His difficulty rating is quite low. We see he has dot damage and pretty decent energy and strike resistance. This is all obviously based on the in-game data sheet, but we'll take a look at his abilities here. So in terms of his passive, he has an ability that boosts movement speed. It applies movement speed up to self when moving towards enemies with a Mark of Destruction. The effect is greater the more Mark of Destruction stacks there are. Mark of Destruction effects deals damage at set intervals that increase stacks. Effect duration increases when attacks land, super attacks excluded. So basically, his Marks of Destruction can be applied to enemies. The more they are, the more damage they'll take, and when he moves towards them, he'll have an increased attack speed. This means that if he manages to start fighting someone, generally they're not going to be able to get away, at least without him being able to chase them, which I think is pretty good. In terms of his other attacks, his rush attack extends the duration of Mark of Destructions and shortens skill cooldowns when he hits an enemy with Mark of Destructions. Shortens cooldown if the target is an enemy hero, and shortens cooldowns more when there are more Mark of Destruction stacks. So his rush attack does not apply Marks of Destructions, but it does extend them, and when it does, he will shorten his cooldowns. So essentially, basically, it's a way for him to apply pressure once the pre-existing Marks of Destruction are applied. In terms of his first ability, Destructive Flash, it's a direct straight line ability that will apply Mark of Destruction to enemies hit. He can move while attacking, and it can be upgraded obviously to have a fairly large cone. Demolition Tornado. He will rapidly rotate to deal a series of strikes to the surrounding area, applying Mark of Destruction to enemies hit. Deals more damage the more Marks of Destruction stacks there are, and can move while attacking. Sphere of Destruction. He assumes a fighting stance and unleashes an unavoidable energy key blast against nearby enemies who attack during it. He gains extra HP as well as energy defense up, and can move while in this stance. The more you are attacked while in this stance, the more damage dealt. Applies Mark of Destruction to enemies hit. And then we have his ultimate, Massive Sphere of Destruction. Unleash a sphere filled with energy at set position. The sphere contracts on impact, finishing with an explosion that deals extra damage. If the enemy has a Mark of Destruction when hit, the entire Mark of Destruction stack will be consumed to deal extra damage. Deals more damage, the more stacks there are. So there's a couple things about Toppo that I think make him OP, and I want to explain this from my side, obviously considering the fact that we do have a couple days of assessment of him. So the first thing is he has a lot of mobility. He can move during Destructive Flash, he can move during Demolition Tornado, he can move during Sphere of Destruction, so this is very important. And the only move he can't move in is his Sphere, which he can technically just throw on top of himself. On top of that as well, he has a movement speed buff whilst chasing enemies that have Mark of Destruction. So Toppo has mobility in fights, and also has mobility out of fights to chase down players that potentially are getting away from him. But it also works alternatively as well. If he applies a Mark of Destruction stacks to the enemy team, or you manage to clip them from afar with his Destructive Flash, you can use that to get away. Now, one thing I will say about Toppo is he does not have range. Destructive Flash is not a large range ability. Tornado requires him to be close, Sphere of Destruction requires him to be close, and his Massive Sphere of Destruction doesn't technically require him to be super close, but none of his abilities have massive range. So this means, generally speaking, you are in the middle of fights, and late game those fights do get tough. as players know, when you're just surrounded by 18,000 high AoE ultimate attacks, you can find it a bit difficult to work your way out of it. I think, however, based on the fact that Toppo honestly has not a single ability that's a massive skill shot, Demolition Tornado should be easy to hit, Sphere of Destruction is guaranteed to hit if you just use it in the middle of a fight, Destruction Flash is an easy to hit direct attack, and his Master Sphere is a massive AoE. So, to cut a long story short, to make up your mind, I think Toppo is going to be OP. I think he's going to be very good, and I think if you're looking to buy someone that's going to give you an advantage, I think Toppo is going to be that guy. That's my honest opinion. But that's it from me. Bye.